Hey everybody, it's Crazy Pineapple here, and we are back with another video. I have been deciding on a direction I want to take my channel, and I have decided on a once a week story and gameplay during the week. Maybe not as often, maybe not every day, but definitely gameplay at least 2 times a week. I really got to put myself to that. But one story a week and gameplay as much as I feel during the week. And so this is actually the first story. And the first story is I had a friend who called me and he said, "Hey, I'm having a party for my birthday. I want you to come over, chill out, meet some people." Because I kind of wasn't socializing much at the time. But I was like, "Yeah, I'll go meet some people." And so he picked me up and we went over and it was cool, man. Like the guy had a DJ, like everybody was chilling out. Nobody was doing anything particularly stupid. There were people doing stupid stuff, but no one was doing anything particularly crazy. Uh, there was food, and I was just hanging out. And there were some people drinking and stuff like that, but I was kind of over there, like, eating the food. I was hungry. And what happened is I was sitting next to this wall, and this wall had grapevines all over it. And the grapes were just growing down, and they were like ready to eat grapes. And so I grabbed one off the wall and I walked over to the dude. And I was like, "Hey," I was like, "Are these grapes edible?" And he's like, "Yeah, they're edible. Like, you want some?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and eat some over there if you don't mind where I'm sitting." And they were grapes and they were there, and I was just like, you know what, I'm gonna eat these, and because it was kind of like it was like a fiesta kind of party, so there was a lot of Mexican food there, and so I was just kind of like, yeah, I've had my fill, so I'm gonna go eat some grapes. And I was sitting there, and I was eating the grapes, and I was sitting there for it was probably like 2 hours, and I would grab a grape, eat it, and then I would walk around and I would talk to everybody. And these are a lot of people I didn't know, so I was kind of meeting everybody. I was shaking hands. I never kept in touch with any of those people. I got a few numbers and, "Hey, we should hang out," and then I never called them back. I'm a terrible person. Um, but yeah, that happened, and I was kind of going around, and I sat back down because it hit about 10 o'clock, and I was pretty tired of walking around. It was a pretty big place, and so I kind of went back and I sat down at 10 o'clock, and I sat in my chair, and I had a friend who was sitting in front of me, and I grabbed some grapes off the wall and I was eating them. And about 10:30, his parents came back, and I remember because his parents were off on a date or something, and they knew he was going to have a party, but per se they didn't know how big it was going to get. He said like 10 people, when actually like 30 people showed up. Like they were all cool. They weren't making a bunch of noise or anything or being stupid. Well, that's a lie. There were a lot of people being stupid, but it wasn't particularly noisy, and the cops didn't get called, but they were kind of there, and they were surprised. They were honestly surprised at the amount of people he had there. So they were kind of walking around. They were getting to know everyone. They didn't throw anybody out, which I was honestly surprised. They were kind of cool. They were getting to know a few people. They were moving around pretty awkward, and I was like, "Whoa, what's up with them?" And I was sitting with my friend, and I grabbed some grapes off the wall, and I was eating one, and they walked up to me, and they didn't say hi or, "Oh, what's your name?" No, they immediately started yelling at me and asking me while I was eating their grapes. And I was like, "Your son said it was all right. They were here." And they were like, "Those are our grape walls. We collect those and keep those." And I was like, "Yo, calm down. Like, I'm sorry." And they're like, "No, you were sitting there eating the grapes, and that's selfish, and you didn't even have permission." I was like, "Yo, I asked your son if I could eat the grapes. Please stop yelling at me. They're just grapes." But the son came over and was like, "Yeah, it's all right. I told him it was fine." And they yelled at their son. Like, it was literally his birthday, and they yelled at him. And they were like, "Hey, you shouldn't be telling people what to do. This isn't your house. You're only 16." And I was like, "Whoa, whoa, everybody calm down." And they threw me out. They literally threw me out. And they were like, "Yeah, get out of it." They were like basically saying, "Get out of our house." And I was like, "Fine, I'll leave." And one of my friends went with me, and we drove back, and he dropped me off. I was like, "All right, bye." And I was like, "Bye." And I called the dude the next day. I was like, "Yo, I'm sorry about eating your grapes, man." And he's like, "Oh man, sorry, but I forgot to tell you. My parents came home from the date. They had drank a bunch of wine." I was like, "How'd they get home?" Then he's like, "Oh, they took a taxi." I was like, "Oh." Thank the Lord. Surprised they didn't smash their car through the freaking garage, pissed off about grapes. But yeah, he's like, they came home drunk and they sent everybody home right after you. And I was like, great, man. So I killed a party by eating grapes. He's like, no, man, it wasn't your fault. He's like, if you want to come over, they said they apologized. I'm like, yo, I'm not coming over. That's a trap. So I wound up never hanging out with that friend again because his parents hated me for eating their grapes. I don't understand why, but pretty boring story. I thought it was hilarious. I was laughing my ass off the next day because, to be honest, I've never had someone throw me out for eating grapes. And that's my first story. And thank you guys for stopping by, and I will see you in the next video. Tomorrow I might upload a Raiders video where we become Raiders on 7 Days to Die, but that's tomorrow. And